Well, good day, good day, good day, and welcome to Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. And today is cloudy and much colder than yesterday. Yesterday was a nice day, but at least it's not snowing or raining out. So, wee little bit of snow left in the woods there. That should be gone another day or two, I think. We'll do the weather report, and then I'm going to shut these off then, and then I'll go for a little bit and then come back and do something. We're at 1 degree Celsius this morning, which would be 33 degrees Fahrenheit. And of course, the winds are north-northwest at 24 miles an hour, or 39 kilometers an hour. So, back to cold weather. It was a high of 2 today, and tomorrow was 5. Thursday is 11, so that's not so bad and sunny. That might be a wood cutting day, and I've said that the other day, but I didn't do it, so one just never knows what's going to happen here on Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. I haven't done much firewood lately. I surely had my fill of it last year and the year before. So anyway, we got to get back at it again because the wood is always going. It's a year-round job doing wood. If you burn wood or if you sell wood. So then Friday is 12 and then Saturday is 18. That's quite nice. Sort of cloud and rain, so. Still going to get some minus temperatures yet. Anyway, that's not so bad, I guess. Well, that's better than being in January. Yeah, so wood is a year-round project. So I'm getting down on my wood here. I should have enough to keep me going. I got another 3 to 4 weeks of burning, possibly. Yesterday, because it was 13 degrees Celsius or 55 degrees Fahrenheit, I lit the stove in the morning and filled her up and put her on cruise control, and that's all I put in for the day. It was warm enough in the garage. I didn't have to add any wood after the early morning startup. I'll go out here and show you this out here. I'm just going to run into a long video again. I can see that happening. Every time I get started, I just keep rambling and going on foolish. So, you seen what I had left in the garage. So as soon as I have that pretty well gone, then that's going inside. So stacking will start within the next couple of weeks. And I don't know what this was. Something was a digging last night. That hole is probably about 2.5 inches around. So I don't know what did that. It's the first time I've ever seen a hole like that here. Anyway, more entertainment on Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. So today we are going to get back at the Kohler K241 engine, and we have to figure out the trouble sometimes of trying to put stuff together. I run into a thought yesterday after I put the base on that it may not be the right base for, it's the right base off of that engine, but that engine is going into a different tractor. So that drain plug, after I got it all on, I thought it might not be in the right place. So So I may have to change it to this base. It has to drain the other way. And that was on the engine that was in the tractor, so a lot of back and forth and thinking as to what to use and stuff. So I do have information as to figure out whether I need to change that or not, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to have to. So anyway, I got to go for a little bit, and then I will be back. There now, I'm back from my little excursion out, and it was very important that I got out to do this. So it's only 5 minutes away from the house, so you gotta have the trip there to get your coffee. You know, it's very important. Because when you have the coffee and you're sitting down in the chair like I am, and you think about these foolish things, like you get into these problems here with these, whatever you're doing, it's a good thing to sit down, take a break, and have a coffee, and think about it. So that's what I'm doing. And I sent out a sticker to a channel also today. Put that in the mail. So I have reviewed the information that I received from my son on the tractor about which base to use, and I have come to the executive decision that I'll have to take the base off that I had put on and put the other one on. The one I have on might work, but it would be difficult to get to the drain plug. So the other one is easier to get to because I have done it before. So I guess that's what is going to take place. Now, I'm not a trained person in these engines. I have to remind you, I am not trained. Do not do what I do. But anyway, I kind of like showing what I think I know. Now, whether it's right or not, who knows? But that's just what I think. So I'm going to take this base off, and then I'm going to show you something. That if you're doing these engines, it's something you have to watch out for. Another difference. And I might touch on something else while I'm at that, if I can remember. Anyway, I'll get back to you in a minute here. All right, so I got the other pan cleaned up here, and something that you need to do when you're doing these engines, and maybe with any splash lubricated engine, and you're changing the base on it. You want to make sure this is the base that come off of that engine, so we are about 2 inches and an eighth deep. Did I do that right? Let's see now. Okay, there, you can see it now. 2 inches and an eighth. So then we'll do this one. This is the one we're going to put on. And it's 2 inches and an eighth also. Now the reason why you're doing that is because if you put too shallow of a base on there, you're going to be breaking that off. That is your dipper. That's what lubricates the engine. It splashes through the oil and splashes everything everywhere in there to lubricate everything. And it is a splash lubricated engine. There is no oil pressure, no oil pump in this type of engine. So you got to watch that. Make sure you have the right base for the right dipper on the rod. Now, like I said before, I'm not an expert. I'm not trained. I'm just stuff I've kind of learned, I guess. And whether it's learned right or not, I don't know. The other thing I wanted to touch on was the fuel pump again. I mentioned the fuel pump the other day, and I did think of some more things afterwards. So some engines have a fuel pump and some don't. And I think I said a lot of the higher horsepower engines normally have a fuel pump. And I think some of the reason for that is you get the higher horsepower like a 14 or a 16 that's working hard and the throttle is wide open, and it's going to be looking for fuel. So when the fuel tank is full, it may not be so much of a problem. But if you get down to about a quarter to an eighth of a tank, then the fuel coming out of the gas tank may not be enough to fill the carburetor bowl, because you've got a little difference in weight in the fuel, and I guess the more weight, the more fuel it'll push out. So as it gets down to empty, it's not going to push fuel out as much. So that's, I think, what the fuel pump is for, to overcome that problem. You may not have that trouble in a 10 or a 12 engine, but you may. But more than likely it was just for the higher horsepower engines that were working, and let's say blowing heavy snow, well then the throttle would be wide open and it would be looking for fuel. So, and the other thing is, if your tractor gasoline tank is not above the carburetor and it won't gravity feed, well then you need a fuel pump. So there's my expert opinion on that. Take it the way you want. Anyway, we're ready to put this base on here, so I gotta glue everything up and put it on. So the glue has to go on and then set for an hour, and then you torque it down. So I'll do that, and that'll give me time to go have my din. And then I'll get back to you. More to come. Alrighty, we are back from our din. And we have the other one on, and I'm just in the process of torquing it. So I don't know how other people torque things, but I tend to torque. Let's say, for instance, you want to go to 35 pounds foot-pound. I usually go to 20 on a sequence around it, and then I leave it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I go to the 35. And if it's a higher foot-pound number, I might do it in 3 steps. Anyway, that's just the way I do it. Doesn't mean that's the way everybody should do it. So what else do we got to do? I got to retorque. I'm only at the first step. I got to do the next one here in a few minutes. Timing mark. That is the timing mark. I'm going to clean that up and put something on it. The last one I did, I think I painted it white, so we can get a timing light into that area and see the timing. So you can check through that hole right there. You set up a timing light on the engine, and you can set the timing from there by the points. Okay, what else? Oh, I got some other parts cleaned up here. Just some throttle parts that I got off of this engine. And what else did I do? Oh yes, I figured out that this carburetor with that hose and that breather cover underneath there, I didn't know if that carburetor with that hose on there would fit into this breather, and it does, so that's the route I'm going with that. It has to fit in that space there. So it goes on. It goes on like that. I'm pretty sure it fits anyway. Yeah, it does fit. I had that in there yesterday. Anyway, it don't fit, I'll do something else. But anyway, that's, I don't know, I think I put that screw in there. So now it doesn't go in all the way, so let's just try that again. Oh dear me. Anyway, it should fit right like that. Yeah. And it's got room for the throttle to move. And it has room for the hose to be in there. So that's the carburetor I'm going to use, and the breather cover with that hose. That's what's going on that engine. So a few things figured out, and we're moving along. So I'll continue on here. Tin work is going to be probably the next kind of thing to figure out, because there's some of that tin work and the muffler. This muffler and then this tin work, because the muffler hooks to that tin work. It does hold on right there. So pretty near got to have that piece of tin work on that engine. That engine down there, yeah. Anyway, more figuring, but anyway, it should fit, hopefully. I guess if it don't, it don't. But okay, so now I got to clean up. Got to do some cleaning on this. I got to find the timing marks on this section right here. And then when that's on here, that would line up with this here that I pointed to. I'm hoping to have the timing set at about 22 degrees advanced. If I can figure that out. The mark on the flywheel is 20 degrees. And I don't think it has any other marks, so I kind of got to figure out between top dead center and 20 degrees. I can kind of measure that and figure up about how far 22 degrees would be past the mark or before the mark, and do that. That's what I want to have. All right, I'll leave this alone for now, and I'll continue on here. I'll be back a little bit later on. Well, now, good day, viewers again. Good day. And we're making some progress here. My thinker is getting tired, so I think that's going to be about it for today. We have made progress here. Some progress, I guess. Anyway, I'm getting to the point where I need to get the tin work off the other engine down there and start figuring out what's what here with this one. And I am pretty sure, and I did do it today, that I'm going to put something on and then realize that I should have put something else on first. Anyway, I did that today. So I'll turn these around here and I'll show you kind of what I got at today here. Like I say, things are coming along. Just hang on a second. Alright, so we can see that we have the base is on. I got the different base on, so I should be able to get at that. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I did have that on now that I think of it. And that's why I did that. I put that big nut on there. And that cap. It's 1/4 inch pipe. So why I put the big nut on there was I didn't want the pipe coming out of the base when I was undoing the cap. So I put that nut on there, and I think I must have welded it on there, I guess. Anyway, it's a 15/16 and the cap is an 11/16, so I can hold the pipe and undo the cap without the pipe moving in the base. So that was the idea of that. Years ago, this tractor, the engine was done over in it, and quite a while ago now, 5, 7 years ago, 8 maybe. I put the drain plug into that base, or maybe another base, I forget now. Anyway, I got it all together, got the tractor tins on, everything was good, and things running like a charm, and I was out cutting the grass out in the front yard. All of a sudden, the smoke was just a-rolling out from underneath the tractor. So I shut her down, and the drain plug come out of the base. And I know I put it in there because I guess maybe I shouldn't have, but I put anti-seize on the plug so that it wouldn't seize in there. And so I put it in, and I did tighten it. Anyway, out she comes. So I've never put anti-seize on a drain plug ever again. Anyway, thing fell out and all the oil all over the ground. It was just as quick as that. Didn't hurt the engine because I shut it off right away. But one of the things that can happen to you. Jumpings. So let's move along here. What else do I want to show you? I got the mark for the timing set painted white. If you remember, I showed you that right here on the tin that goes on over this, the flywheel cover, there's a hole right here, so you can look at the flywheel. I'll show that in a second. Flywheel will be right in this area, and then you can line up the marks with that mark. I guess that's the air compressor. It should be off in a few minutes. cats, you just never know what's going to happen when you're doing the video, do you? All right, what else was I going to show you? Oh, yeah. So over here on the flywheel, you see I have the white mark there, and I don't know if you can see it or not, the S that's stamped into the flywheel casing. Just above that white line, it's an S there. So that indicates spark. And down here, the other line with the T, that's top dead center. So between that line and that white line is 20 degrees before top dead center. So she's advanced timing. So what I'm hoping to do, and I'm going to try and figure it out, but I want to set it at about 22 degrees advanced. You might just get a little hair more power out of it. So anyway, I'm going to try and figure out, like, the distance here to here is 20 degrees, so halfway would be 10, and then halfway in between the 10 would be 5, and then halfway in between that would be about 2.5, so that's about where I'd want my mark to line up with. So I'm going to do a little figuring on that and make a mark there for the 22 degrees. So to set the timing on these, you adjust the points in or out so that sets the gap on the points. But it also sets the timing. So if you have the points, I got to kind of really think on this now. I had it all figured out when I did the other motor a couple of years ago, but so the points are too closed or the points are too open. I can never remember which way is advanced, which way is retarded. So I got to do some thinking on that. Anyway, I'm going to set the timing. They call it a static timing. I'm going to hook up power to it, and then I'm going to rotate the engine until the points open. I think that's when it happens. The spark happens when the points open, I believe. This stuff always kind of gets me. If you did this stuff every other week, it wouldn't be so bad. You'd remember, but anyway. So one way or the other, when the points open or close, it makes a spark. So depending on where you have these set at, the sooner or the later that the spark happens. So that's how you adjust your timing. Now, with it running and with the timing light, you leave this screw a little bit just kind of snug. You put your screwdriver, flat screwdriver, in here, and you can see the gap on the points here. So you can adjust the points in and out as the motor is running, and you can see this spark line. You can see the spark line moving as compared to the one that's on the cover inside there. You can get it set so those two lines line up exactly. Or if you move the points, you can see the line go ahead or go back of that other line that's in here. Anyway, so I'll have to try and do some more learning myself on that. And I got to remember which way the engine turns. But I think it's I think if you're sitting in the seat, like you're always supposed to do in the tractor, everything is from sitting in the seat. So this, I would be looking at this from the seat. So the engine, as far as I can remember, again, I'll have to do some thinking on this, that it should be going clockwise. So that would mean that line has to be after. That line there, I think, is going to have to be after that one. So it comes up, passes that by the 2 degrees, and then sparks. That's the advanced timing, I think. I'm going to have a sore head tomorrow thinking about all that stuff. Anyway, this is kind of carrying on here too much, I guess so. Carburetor's on. She's ready for here we go. And the breather's on. All that stuff is in there, so. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I had said about putting stuff on and then have to take stuff off to put something else on. Well, I had the carburetor on and I had the 2 bolts in, but I only had them finger tight, and then I remembered I got to put this piece of tin on here first, so I had to take the carburetor bag off. And not a big deal, but anyway, that's going to happen, and I'm sure I'm going to be doing more of that. Anyway, I guess that's going to be about all for today, and tomorrow is going to be maybe the flywheel going on, and maybe the flywheel cover, and maybe, and an awful lot of thinking on this timing thing. That's going to be it. So I still got to put some of those parts on the flywheel cover. That's for the throttle. And I've got this fixed up here. There's a hole here in the cover for the breather. There's other breathers that come right straight out and just come right into the air breather. Whereas this one, I don't know why it's like that, but this one here goes right into the throat of the carburetor. So no difference, it's just hooked up different, that's all. It does the same job. What else have we got? I think that's it. Anyway, more progress done today. Like I say, I am not a Kohler engine mechanic or any engine mechanic, so we're just going along and doing what I can do. So I am fairly confident that it's going to run, but you just never know. So I think I said in one of the other videos, and me putting this carburetor on, that carburetor is basically meant for a 14 horsepower or a 16 horsepower, so it's bolted on to a 10 horsepower, so it's kind of like a 4-barrel. Oh yeah, and we got extra spacers in there so that the fuel will atomize better before it gets to the cylinder. More kabang. Hopefully the right kabang and not the wrong kabang. All right, that's enough foolishness for today. Have a good day, good evening, and wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. Goodbye now.